In the last section, we explored our project structure a little bit and cleared out the contents of the index.js file. In this section, we're going to start with the absolute basics, which is to attempt to get some content on the screen of our mobile device. Whenever we want to place some content on the screen in any type of app we build, we are always going to do so by creating a component. A component is a widget of sorts. It's a thing that produces some text or a shape or an image that can be rendered onto the screen of our mobile device. The apps that you and I build are going to be composed by collections of these different components that we are going to make. So our job right now inside of this index.js file is to create a component and then somehow render it onto the screen of our mobile device. So to help us in this first task, we're going to add some comments to guide us along. So up on the first line here, I'm going to add one comment. I'm going to say the first thing we need to do is to import a library to help create a component. Then a little bit underneath that, I'm going to say that we are going to attempt to create a component. And then a little bit further underneath that, we're going to say that we are going to attempt to render that component, so render it to the device. So let's talk about these three steps here in a little bit greater detail. So the first thing we're going to attempt to do is to import a couple libraries to help us make a component. Components are intelligent objects that have a lot of inner workings associated with them. So we don't want to have to implement all that fancy pants code every time we make a component. So instead, we use a few functions provided by React Native to make the process of generating a new component much easier for us. The next thing that we're going to do is use that library that we just imported to create a new component. Now I keep using this term component over and over again. Remember, this is a thing, for lack of a better term, that produces some content that's going to appear on our mobile device. Finally, the act of just creating a component doesn't actually do anything. We have to specifically tell React Native to take the component we just created and place it onto the screen. In all of the different apps that we are going to create in this course, we'll have to deal with a dozen or so different components. And at every step along the way, we always have to be very specific in telling our device exactly when to display each of these different components to our users. So let's begin with step one up here at the top. We're going to add a little bit of code to import two libraries into this file. So let's write it out. I'm going to say import React from React, and import React Native from React-Native, like so. So already some crazy looking code, because all this time we've been talking about this library called React Native, but now it appears that we are importing two separate libraries here, one that's called React and the other that's called React Native. Let's take a short break right here, and then we'll figure out exactly what the difference is between these two libraries in the next section.